Hey you guys, what's up? It's Rocketos54 here, and welcome to the 12th episode of Criterion Roulette. Yeah, it's been a while since the last one, and I am sorry about that. I'll be honest, Criterion Roulette, it's an expensive series to do, it's because Criterions are not cheap, but also I kind of have a bit of a rule for myself that I don't buy any new Blu-rays until I've already finished the stack I have. And I kept on meaning to do another one, and then, I had other Blu-rays to watch, and then when I didn't have Blu-rays to watch, I didn't feel like doing another one. Yeah, but it's been 11 months exactly since the last Criterion Roulette. Episode 11 was uploaded on November 9th, 2022, and it is currently October 9th, 2023. That's the day that I am recording this, but we are finally back with a new Criterion Roulette. I'm very excited about this one. Now, for those of you who have never seen an episode of Criterion Roulette, basically how it works is I pick 3 films from the Criterion collection, one that I choose, one that a friend chooses, and then I put all the spine numbers of the Criterion collection into a random number generator, and it picks one, and that's the one I choose. So as always, I am going to start with the film that I chose for this episode, and that is Dressed to Kill, released in 1980, directed by Brian De Palma. Now, I've seen a few Brian De Palma films so far. I think... Wait, I don't remember if it was the first episode of Criterion Roulette or not, but it was up there. It was one of the first where I did Blowout as the one that my friend Christian recommended, and I thought that one was pretty good. But I'd say by far my favorite Brian De Palma film that I've seen so far is Carrie. I absolutely love that film. I think it's one of my favorite horror films. It's just superbly directed, just absolutely incredible. I cannot recommend Carrie enough if you have not seen it. But I did see Murder a la Mode, which was a special feature on the Blowout Criterion, and it wasn't that good. It was, yeah, you could tell it was like, one of his early movies. And I wasn't really huge on the first Mission Impossible either. I do need to rewatch that for sure. But from what I remember, I wasn't really huge on it. But hold on, I did see one more of his movies. I need to remember what. Oh yeah, and I did see Phantom of the Paradise, which is my friend Christian's favorite film of all time. And that one's okay. It definitely has an audience, just one that I'm not really part of. But I do see why it has a cult following. It has merit, just doesn't fully click with me, but it is a good movie. But yeah, so I'm definitely excited to check this out. It seems like one that I would really, really enjoy. This came out the year before Blowout. Um, I understand that this is like kind of a slasher, but also kind of a thriller. Um, because the summary on the back says Brian De Palma ascended to the highest ranks of American suspense filmmaking with this virtuoso, explicit erotic thriller, as at once tongue-in-cheek and scary as hell. Dressed to Kill revolves around the grisly murder of a woman in Manhattan and how her psychiatrist, her brainiac teenage son, and the prostitute who witnessed the crime try to piece together what happened while the killer remains at large. With its masterfully executed scenes of horror, voluptuous camera work, and passionate score, Dressed to Kill is a veritable symphony of terror enhanced by vivid performances by Angie Dickinson, Michael Caine, and Nancy Allen. Now, I know that this also had, I think a fair amount of controversy behind it, because there's actually a special feature on here that there's pieces from 2001 about different versions of the movie and the cuts they had to make to avoid an X rating. So I'm very, very excited to see why this was so controversial, because this is the unrated version that's on this Criterion, which is Brian De Palma's preferred version of the movie. But yeah, I'm very, very excited to check this out. So yeah, without further ado, let's just pop this in and see how it is. All right, so here's a look at the Criterion. There's the front, the spine, and the back, and then on the inside you got the disc artwork. Looks really cool, the black and the red, and then there's no real artwork or image behind. It's just black. But then here's the little booklet that is included with it. But yeah, I'm very excited to check this out. Let's pop it in and see how it is. All right, you guys. So I just finished watching Dress to Kill, and overall, I liked it. Um, it's a flawed movie, but it's very compelling. Like the main issue I had with it was the direction seemed a bit too soap opera-y at times, and not in a good way. But the more it goes on, the more compelling it gets, and the characters were really good. I absolutely loved Nancy Allen. I thought she was great in this movie. I really liked her character. Her performance was very good. I liked Keith Gordon as well. Um, this is another thing in this that I really liked was like there's a lot of like there are a lot of hints dropped throughout because this has a really good reveal, and there's like a lot of like little things like sprinkled throughout, and as like once the reveal happens, I was thinking back to earlier things, and I'm like, this all makes sense. I'm like, yep, I can see how this was trying to like show a certain thing here. So I'm definitely gonna have to give this a second watch, like now that I know what to expect, so that I can watch it with a different mindset and be like, oh yeah, I noticed that. It was a good movie. I definitely quite enjoyed it. Like the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm liking it. But yeah, I just liked this movie quite a bit. Honestly, I really can't wait to watch it again, through a different mindset. As I said, my main issue with it was the direction. It just, the direction just could have been better, especially considering that this is from the same guy who made Carrie 4 years prior. Um, I know this isn't like a straight up horror film like Carrie. It's way more of a thriller, but I just thought that there were some areas of the direction that could have been improved. It would have had it have a bit more of a punch to the audience, but I still quite enjoyed this. I would give it a 3.5 out of 5. I could see my rating getting higher for this over time. As I said, like as I'm sitting here right now, I can't get this movie out of my mind because there is a lot of cool things about it, and I just keep thinking about everything, the reveal and all the little things dropped throughout, and as I said, how much I loved Nancy Allen in this movie. Yeah, really am looking forward to that rewatch. But yeah, I will see you guys, I mean, in a couple seconds in the video, obviously, as I always say, but I don't know exactly when I'll be watching the second film for the episode, but whenever that may be, in the case of the video, I will see you in a couple seconds. Alright, you guys, so it is now time for me to watch the second film for this episode of Criterion Roulette. This is the friend recommendation, and this is one that my friend Kiara recommended to me, so thank you very much, Kiara, for this recommendation. This is one that I've really been looking forward to seeing for quite a while now, and I've just never gotten around to it, which is it's very strange because it's a very, very popular movie that I just have never gotten around to. But that film is The Princess Bride, released in 1987, directed by Rob Reiner. I've seen two Rob Reiner films before this. I've seen Stand By Me and I've seen Misery, and both of those are very high in my favorite films of all time, especially Stand By Me. Like I could literally go on for hours and hours about that movie. I love it so much. I first saw it when I was 8 years old. It just I can't even begin to describe it because I'm just gonna go on like a whole like separate thing about it because I love that movie so much. It means so much to me. It's just so expertly well made. And Misery is incredibly well made too. Just a great performance from Kathy Bates and a great one from James Caan as well. Just the writing, the directing, just the feel, like just the feeling of suspense is just so good. I hear that apparently the book of Misery is a lot more messed up than the movie, and I actually did start reading Misery like in 10th grade, but I only read like a little bit of it because I read The Shining like all throughout the first semester of grade 10 English, and then I finished it like in like the last like I think 3 weeks before the semester ended. I finished the book, so I still needed something to read for the last 3 weeks, so I went and got Misery from the library, and then I just read to the end of the semester and then gave it back. So I didn't get like super like I didn't get like I don't even think I got halfway through, but the parts I did read were quite good. But yeah, so never seen this before. I in getting this Criterion, I found out that sorry, I thought I heard somebody open the door. So in buying this Criterion, like looking on the back, I found out that Fred Savage is in this. I actually had no idea that he was in this. I mean, I knew that Carrie Elways was in this because there's a Family Guy joke where Peter writes a fan letter to Carrie Elways. This is a very beautiful looking Criterion. It's actually like a storybook, which is pretty cool. Um, but yeah, so I am now going to take a look inside here, and then we're gonna pop it in and see how it is. All right, so here's a look at the Princess Bride Criterion. There's the front, the spine, and the back here. It says "As You Wish" on the back. I assume that's a reference to the movie. Unfortunately, the little slip of paper that was on the back had a sticky thing, which kind of discolors it a bit, which kind of sucks, but whatever. But yeah, and so then in here you got some really nice looking designs here. It's literally like a children's like storybook here. It looks really nice. So there's what did it say on the special features list? It said there's an essay and I guess an introduction to the writer's script from his 4 screenplays collection. So let's see, there's got like and then the illustrations look beautiful. Like just look at that. But yeah, and so then there's the 4K disc, and then the Blu-ray disc is right under. I specifically waited for this to come out on 4K because I figure, there's no point in getting the Blu-ray when the 4K comes out soon. And Criterion's really been killing it with their 4K releases lately. So, yeah, I really can't wait to watch this. So let's pop it in and see how it is. Alright, guys, so we are now going to be watching the third and final film for this episode of Criterion Roulette. And here's the thing, I'll be honest, it has been an unforgivably long time since I actually finished The Princess Bride, and I didn't film a clip yet talking about my thoughts on it because I was kind of tired by the time I finished it, and I just literally did not feel like filming another clip. So I'll give you my brief thoughts on it now. I enjoyed it. I thought it was I thought it was well directed. The performances were good. I like the idea of having it be like, a story like told to a kid and then like having like actually showing the story. I always think that kind of thing is pretty cool. Um, Carrie Elways was good. Robin Wright was good. It was nice seeing Fred Savage in here too. As I said, it's been way too long since I actually finished this. I should have filmed this a long time ago, but I didn't. I did like the film. I will say I wasn't as sucked into it and didn't feel it as deeply as a lot of others have, but I definitely do want to give this another watch at some point. At the moment, I'd probably give this a 3.5 out of 5. I did enjoy it. But now we are on to the third and final film for this episode. This was the Random Spine #1. And that film is Yi Yi, released in 2000, directed by Edward Yang. I'm pretty sure I've heard Edward Yang's name before, but I don't think I've seen any of his movies. I don't think... I don't think he directed... Because for some reason I want to say he directed In the Mood for Love, but I don't think that was him. I think that was Wong Wai-kai, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, hadn't ever heard of this until I did the spine number drawing for this. This is a long movie. It's nearly 3 hours. It's spoken in Mandarin. Yeah, I'm hoping this will be a good one. The plot on the back says, the extraordinarily internationally embraced Yi Yi, directed by the late Taiwanese master Edward Yang, follows a middle-class family in Taipei over the course of 1 year, beginning with the wedding and ending with a funeral. Whether chronicling middle-aged father NJ's tentative flirtations with an old flame or precocious young son Yang Yang's attempts at capturing reality with his beloved camera, the filmmaker deftly imbues every gorgeous frame with a compassionate clarity. Warm, sprawling, and dazzling, this intimate epic is one of the undisputed masterworks of the new century. Because this came out in 2000, and it looks like the title Yi Yi translates to a 1 and a 2 in English, but reading this from the back, it almost seems like the exact same story as The Fabelmans. It almost has me wondering if maybe Spielberg was inspired by this. But yeah, so we're going to have a look at what's inside here, then we're going to pop it in and see how it is. All right, so here's a look at the front, and then there's the spine and the back. This is kind of a bare bones release in terms of like, well, like both like features and like aesthetic, because as you can see, the disc is like, just kind of a typical kind of like an amber color, which it's a nice color, but then like the booklet kind of looks exactly the same. Nothing too extravagant, but oh, I almost got my headphone wire in there. There we go. But yeah, like this one, at least as I right here, it says it has like the features. There's not very many, but at least it does actually have a an interview with Tony Raines on here. Like I was just thinking, I'm like, this at least this isn't as bad as the blue is the warmest color Criterion, which had literally no features at all. But yeah, so hopefully this will be a pretty good one. Let's pop it in and see how it is. Alright, you guys, so I just finished watching Yi Yi, and if I'm being honest, I didn't really care for it that much. It's not a terrible film by any means, but really my main issue with it is I just thought it was way too long and that there was too much going on, because this movie's nearly 3 hours and I don't think it should have been any longer than two. And there's so many different characters that they focus on, and they they plant like these little like seeds of like things that you should like pay attention to with their story, but then they like space these characters out like so far away from each other, and they kind of focus on one a little more than the other in the beginning. So it's like you're looking at, one character for a long time, and his, the kind of stuff that's happening with him is boring. It's stuff that's not even engaging. And then, they go to the other characters, and you get some of them, then you go back to that one character, and then you go to like some new characters and from before, and you're like, to some characters from before, and you're like, wait a minute, what was their story element again? I had that happen multiple times while watching this. I was like, I don't remember what happened with them. I was like, it was just spaced too far apart. But I will say the cinematography and acting in this was really, really good. This is one of, if not like one of the most beautiful looking movies I've seen in a while, if not ever. Like the shots in this are absolutely incredible, and the acting was really, really good too. Like just every single actor in this movie, you just got the sense that they had been doing this for a really long time. Even the young actors, like the one who played Yang Yang in this movie. Um yeah, like they were all great. Like, it really felt like you were watching real people. As it's as I said, not a terrible movie. I would probably give it like a 2.5 out of 5. I feel like I'm gonna get crucified for this because this movie has an average score of 4.5 out of 5 on Letterboxd. It's one I'm definitely not opposed to rewatching, just in case I mean, I can already tell I didn't get as much out of it as I thought I was going to. I feel like I might with rewatches, but one thing I will also say is that, like, personally, I thought that the film should have focused way more on Yang Yang and just like him being a kid, because I thought those parts were by far the most fun to watch. I really, really liked seeing him, but yeah, I thought it just kind of like failed to stick the landing from a narrative and structure standpoint, because as I said, it's just, like each character that they follow, they space them out way too far apart from each other, and like in a bit of a weird order as well. So it made me kind of like, as I said, I forgot like what the story element with certain characters were. I'm like, wait, I gotta remember like what was their story again. It happened more than once, which kind of sucks. But as I said, I am, definitely open to rewatching this. I feel like there is a lot that this film has going for it, and yeah, I definitely do want to give it another watch, because, like I'm finding myself like thinking about it more and more. But yeah, that is going to be it for this episode of Criterion Roulette. I know it has been such a long time since the last one. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's been like maybe about a year since I did the last one, because I think I'm almost certain that when I did the previous episode that I still had my glasses, and I got laser eye surgery in November of 2022, and it is January of 2024 as I am filming this. So yeah, it has been literally a year since I did a Criterion Roulette episode. I'm sorry about that. It's just that these videos, I have to buy these Criterions. Criterions are not cheap, and like, if I had more space on my Blu-ray shelf as well as more money, I would do these a lot more often because they are really fun. Um, but yeah, it's an expensive series to do, and also because I always have like stacks of Blu-rays to watch. I kind of have a rule for myself that I don't buy any more Blu-rays until I've finished the stacks that I have to watch, and then I can buy more. But yeah, so anyway, guys, that is going to be it for this video. Subscribe for more content. Please leave a like in the video if you enjoyed, and remember, you guys, whenever taking pictures of the mundane, say no to drugs.